Hey guys, just wanted to see if I could talk to you about grief today and unresolved grief. Why? I just had another phone call from somebody that is dealing with it, and it's kind of overwhelming, and I get it because the grief is overwhelming, and it's a time when you have to reflect on what really matters in life. Unresolved grief will keep you ineffective in life. It will keep you down. It will keep you focused on what you don't have any longer and what can't be changed, if you will. I have a little experience with grief. I lost my mother, my father, my 29-year-old sister, a 47-year-old brother, an infant niece, brother-in-law, and in 2005 I lost my 17-year-old son. I understand how incapacitating grief can be, but I also understand that if you allow it in your life to be the main focus, it will stay a lot longer. It doesn't have to be the focus. I understand the pain. Yes, the pain is deep. The loss is deep. The regret is deep. It's one of the worst things you can ever walk through, honestly, in this life. But there's healing in it. And there's healing in it. And you know what I think that it took me the longest to understand is that, yes, my family members are no longer here. I'll never see them again on this side of eternity. But my assignment isn't over. I still have things I got to do. I'm not finished with this life, and God's not done with me yet. So that's why I'm not there. He wasn't really always the one. He's not the one responsible. A lot of people like to say, oh, well, God took him in this and that. A lot of times we just have an enemy of our souls that's out there, and there's a lot of premature death, and God will receive your loved ones, but it's not because he's the root and he's causing people to die. That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. But how do you get rid of unresolved grief? How do you not let it take residence in you and cripple you for years? Because it can take away years of your life. I had to walk through it, like I told you, with Jesus, and Jesus is really the only solution, honestly. He's the only one that can take it from you. He'll take that pain from you. He took it on the cross, and he'll take it again. It said in Romans that we know that when Jesus was raised from the dead, it was a signal of the end of death as the end, that never again will death have the last word. As long as we're kept down in grief, death still has the last word, and it's still occupying our time if we focus on it. So my point being is, yes, it hurts, and yes, it's a awful trial that we all go through, and we're all going to go through. As long as there's life, there's death, and it's not going to change, not soon. But how can we stop it from crippling us in our walk? I like to think of he talks about we have a great cloud of witnesses in heaven, that people are watching us. I like to think of my life here on earth as like a giant football game. I love football, so it's easy for me to use that analogy. But if you're watching a football game, there's many players in it. There's some that are on the field. There's one that's running the ball. There's a few that are blocking for him. There's all kinds of activity in a football game. And then there's some that are sitting the bench, and then there's spectators, and then there's those that are completely unengaged with even watching. Put yourself in that milieu, if you will, in that scenario. Where do you fit? Because that's how we are in life. That's what we're doing in life. Some of us are getting the ball thrown to us, and we're not even understanding it's our turn. It's our turn to get up. The enemy's already taken from you, and that we can't change that. We can't go back and change that. I don't have a son. This is obvious. I don't have my mother or my father or any of that. This is obvious. But if I let this grief cripple me, I am not only giving the enemy the satisfaction of destroying my life with them, I am also taking away every chance that I would ever have at achieving what God has for me in this life by not being active in my own life, by letting that interfere with how I face every day. Grief is part of life, but it doesn't have to be the main reason or the main focus of your life. So when the ball is thrown your way, get up. It's time to get up. I understand that it hurts, and I understand that your heart is broken and you don't think you can go on, but two things can happen. Jesus can heal a broken heart very well. He's healed mine over and over again. Better than new. And he can also give you the joy of the Lord, which is his strength. You're not going to go anywhere without his strength. And the strength is what? The joy of the Lord. So if joy is your strength, how many of you are sapped right now? You got no strength. You got no will to go on. You're sitting down and you're letting the enemy beat you day after day after day because you don't have it in you. Well, I know you don't. But don't let grief be the deciding factor of how you're going to live your day or run your day. Understand that the joy of the Lord is way more important. That you getting up and doing the most good you can do in a 12-hour period and then going to bed and sleeping well is way more important than you focusing on the fact that somebody's not here anymore. They're not here and they're not going to be. And you'll be okay. You'll be okay, but you will see them again. You'll see them again one day, and it'll be all right then. But until then, get moving. Get moving. There's so many things you could be doing. There's so many impacts you could have on other people who are still here. There's so much life left to live. Don't let grief tie you down. Love you guys.